Okay.
Okay, we're gonna do some really quick and dirty bias strips here. If you want them on the perfect bias, 45 degrees, you start with a rectangle of fabric, twice as long as it is wide, fold it in half, and stitch along the 3 sides. For these bias strips, for these masks, I don't care if they're on the true bias, really. They don't have to be. So I obviously here have a piece of fabric that's not quite square. So my strips won't quite be on the bias, but it's okay. I fold it in half and I have serged these 3 sides. And so here's my fold. So I'm gonna take a ruler and go from one corner to the other. This piece of fabric was 45 inches square when I started. And this is one of those super washable Crayola markers. So I drew a line from one corner to the other. Then I'm gonna flip it over. And I'm gonna do the same thing, but because I flipped it over, it's the opposite corner, and that's really important. So here's the corner that I already did. Now I'm gonna do it again. So then what we do is snip the corner off just enough to get the scissors in there. I'm gonna go inside here. I'm not cutting through both layers, I'm only cutting through one. You see that? I'm only cutting through one layer. Thank heavens, this is the only part you have to do with scissors. The rest can be done with a rotary cutter, which is what makes this so wonderful. There's no matching up of little strips. There's no pressing 5,000 little seam allowances. I've had really good luck with that washable marker coming out too. Okay, I'm gonna turn it over. Do the same thing, snip the corner, put the scissors in. I'm just cutting one layer. You have to be careful you don't accidentally pick up that underneath layer. And cut it. If you do, you probably just throw that piece of material away and start over. Unless it's important, and then you'll have to resurrect something. Okay. Did I say at the beginning you stitch it right sides together? You stitch it right sides together. Okay. So now I have this giant tube. You see that? And you would want to, you can press your seams now, but I'm not going to just because I'm hurrying. So lay your tube out, kind of line the sides up on the left side. If you were doing a very nice job, you'd want to press your seam allowances. Turn this back. I like to do a good hand width. So what is that? 4 inches, 5 inches? And because I've made this piece of fabric so big, I'll push this up here. Usually, you wouldn't have as big a tube, but because I need a lot of strips, I have a big tube. So I'm gonna fold it back over, just however. Okay. Line it up so it's straight. big ruler. The first piece you cut the whole distance because you want a straight side.
I made a picture for you.
Thank you.
It's for Mommy.
Mom's doing a video for me. Isn't that cool? We'll be done in just a second. Okay, I need 2-inch wide strips. So I'm putting my ruler down here. Do not cut in this fold up here that you did. That's super, super important. However wide you need your strips. I guess I could sing right now, but it doesn't matter if you stop in exactly the same spot or not. I mean, you don't want to be way off just because it makes it inconvenient later. Just don't cut that fold. Okay, on this side, I'm going to need to go ahead and cut all the way off. That's a waste. Okay, this is where the magic part of this happens and the confusing part. So I'm going to open this up. My students used to say it looked like a hula skirt. You open it up to this place, get your fold, and get all these strips out of the way. That's the tricky part. And Megan, while we're videoing this, if you would take a picture once I draw this line, it might help. Okay, so if you cut straight across, you're going to get just circles of fabric, which isn't the end of the world. It's just not what we want. Here's the first cut right here. And here's the first one on this side. We don't want that one. We want to go over here. So that's where I'm going to make my first cut. And because I'm making my bias 2 inches wide, that's going to be the angle there.